What's going on? Welcome to another episode 132 of the show with me, Michael Labs, your host, on this beautiful, fine October day, October 19th, I think we're looking at. Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go just went up on my watch. You guys remember Pokemon Go? Those were the days, man. Those were the mother effing days. How's everyone doing? Good weekend? Enjoy it with good people, good times, friends, family, all that good stuff. All this stuff that doesn't mean anything. I'm just kidding. That stuff means everything, right? That's the most important thing. You know, that's the one thing that no one can take away from you is friends, family, good times with good people. Let me just pull up my notes right here real quick. But I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone is enjoying this year, 2020. I think I have. It's been a good year, man. It's been an interesting year. It's definitely been a year where all of us are going to have stories for our grandkids and our kids and our great-grandchildren and whatever else comes along the way. It's been wild. I feel like you're in a simulation, man. China straight up partying. Wuhan, China they're having pool parties. They're like over with coronavirus. They have no need for it anymore. I want to address a few things right up front, real quick, before we continue at all into this podcast. The few things I want to address is we have 3 weeks, I think, 4 weeks until the election of 2020, where we have another 4 years of Donald Trump, or we have another 4 years of Joe Biden, or we have 4 years of Joe Biden, aka Kamala Harris. And I want to just make a huge announcement to everybody that this is honestly super important. This is super important for times like this when people are in a frenzy, people are in a chaotic state, people are losing their minds, people are losing their jobs, people are losing their houses, where our economy looks like it's doing well when we're basically prolonging a huge recession. I've been watching a TV show called 90 Day Fiancé, and I'm sure you guys have seen it. I'm sure if you guys have seen it and you heard me just say that, I've lost all credibility, where I would actually agree with you. I have lost all credibility because I watch 90 Day Fiancé. But anyways, I watch this show pretty much every Sunday. It's my, what's it called? When you do something, it's my guilty pleasure, as they would call it. It's my guilty pleasure. It's what I enjoy doing to just kind of escape from reality, escape from the world, escape from the chaos that's going on all around us at all times of the day. It's my time away from the universe. And I enjoy it. I enjoy that time. I enjoy watching the show. And what the show has taught me more than anything else, is that this country, and I feel like I do podcasts like this a lot, and I want people to realize I'm pro-America. I enjoy our freedoms. I enjoy this country. It may just simply be because of the way I was brought up, maybe because the person I am, the luck of the draw I have. But I go to bed every night in this country knowing that I can wake up and I can achieve whatever I want, right? I can do whatever I want. There's no ceiling on it for me. Any options that I want to achieve are right around the corner. I'm aware of that. I'm also aware that it doesn't exist for a lot of people. But I watch this show and it's crazy because you have these people that travel to Ecuador, you have these people who travel to Qatar, you have these people who travel to Moldova, you have these people who go to India, you have these people who go to South Africa, Nigeria, just these countries throughout the world, and you don't realize how much of a difference there are between the United States and Moldova or Ecuador or Brazil or South Africa, Nigeria, all these countries. You don't realize it. You forget just how blessed we are to be in this country. And there's so many things in this country that are wrong. There's so many things that need to be addressed. There's a lot of things that could make this country better if these issues were fixed, right? And no one's going to argue against that. No one's going to say that that's not true. Everyone's going to agree with that. But what I am saying is that these next 3 weeks, these next 3 to 8 weeks, whenever the new president comes in, whatever happens is not the end of the world. And I think that a lot of people, there's a lot of fear going around right now. There's a lot of fear happening in this country. There's a lot of fear happening in the world. And there's a lot of fear happening in between certain people, certain groups of people, certain people who've always been friends and people who've always liked each other. And there's this pinpoint of fear. And fear is where everything stems from, right? People go crazy when they fear certain things, when they fear losing their job, when they fear not being able to pay rent, when they fear the possibility of being hurt. When we have fear, you start spiraling out of control, right? And fear is developed in a few ways. Fear is developed from personal experience, which is better fear because that fear can be rationalized. But the fear that we're all being thrown at every single day, the fear that we are all experiencing, no matter where you come from, Republican, Democrat, Caucasian, African American, Hispanic, female, male, gender neutral, whatever you are, whatever walk of earth you come from, we are all experiencing this fear that's artificial, this fear that I would argue doesn't exist as much as it's put on a platform. If you could measure fear in this country, if you could measure anxiety in this country, and you could somehow take it and break it down into artificial, so the stuff that is given to you to make you feel a certain way, or the stuff that you personally experience, I would say it's an 80-20 split. And if you could take the amount of fear starting in 2008 up to 2020, and you could just slowly take like a bar graph, you could see it grow exponentially. It seems like when 2016 came around and President won, Donald Trump won the presidency, there was a lot of things going on, right? There was this idea people were going to leave the country if he became president. That didn't happen. There was this idea that he was going to ruin the country. Whoever, it depends who you are. You have a different opinion on that. But there is here's the other thing, is that if he does win again, or if he loses and Joe Biden wins, what doesn't change is the people right around you, the people who are closest to you, the people who you can talk to, that with a different president, there's going to be no impact on. And I think this is what we forgot. We have forgotten this. We have slowly drifted away from our basic human understanding of what it means to be a person. It doesn't matter who the president is. It really doesn't. The conversations that you have with people closest to you should never change because of who's running the country. And that's the truth. And that's what I think people have completely lost their minds over. And look, I'm sitting here and I know that this is going to get a lot of backlash. I know that people aren't going to like my opinion. I know people are going to be upset with me. They're going to say, I'm apologizing for so-and-so. They're going to say that you are this because you like this, or because you support this idea, this makes you that. That's the issue. The issue is that logic has taken a back seat. This idea that we're just connecting the dots because of this. If you support Trump, you're racist, right? If you don't support Trump, you want America to burn to hell. That's just not true. Look, here's the truth. I do not like Donald Trump as a person. Some of his policies I think they're good, right? And Joe Biden, I don't know him as a person. I think some of his policies are fine, but I also don't like him either. I don't like either of these individuals. I don't. I think Donald Trump is a sociopath, narcissistic liar. Borderline, maybe he does have a lot of issues. Like maybe he does dislike a lot of certain people. But what I do know, and what I think is the most important thing here, is that this man, either one, I don't care, either one is not going to impact my personal experience on an everyday basis. When I wake up and I run and I eat and I go here and I do this and I have conversations with people, those are never going to be impacted by whoever is running this country. That's just the truth. And I think people are in such a state of fear. Look, if we woke up and let's just go through a thought experiment. Just go through a thought experiment real quick. If we woke up, and let's just say, so you guys are watching this October 20th. Let's say you guys woke up October 21st. And we're sitting here, and you wake up, and I tell you that Joe Biden is now the president. Or let's just say you wake up November 5th. Let's just say, I think that's when the elections are done. Let's say you wake up November 5th. And I tell you, hey, just so you know, Joe Biden is now the president. Donald Trump is no longer the president, right? And you take me on my word. You don't try to prove me wrong. You don't try to look into it. You just, yes, he's president. Well, I guarantee if you told everybody that, if you told people that, they would, a lot of people who were anti-Trump and pro-Biden would completely change who they are. They would completely change the person that they are. Months go by. I tell them, hey, just so you know, Joe Biden never won the presidency. It's been Donald Trump the whole time. It's been Donald Trump, and let's just say it's March. So November, December, January, February. It's been, Joe Biden hasn't been the president. Donald Trump has been the president for the last 4 months. If you take that and you tell somebody that, but they initially believe that Donald Trump lost and Joe Biden won, and they completely change the person they are, you're showing, what that thought experiment is showing is that people don't actually, what they want is to win. What they want is to remove our power. It's so easy when there's somebody so polarizing to just place blame on everybody. Now, the thing that really confuses me the most is blaming somebody for an entire virus. That's something that I can't rationalize. Now, I understand a lot of different perspectives. I understand a lot of things that, well, he said don't wear a mask, or he says don't do this, or it's not a big deal, blah, 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 blah. I get it. I understand. But a virus is going to eventually affect everybody, infect everybody, or there's going to be a vaccine for it. I don't care if you're Jesus Christ. I don't care if you're Muhammad. I don't care if you're Buddha. And you come down here, you come up from wherever these gods come from, and you're not going to be able to stop a virus. You're just not going to be able to stop a virus. It's literally impossible to stop a virus unless you have a vaccine. You could slow it down. There's some viruses like the cold that we accept that we just can't stop. The flu, we even accept we can't stop. People are going to get it. People adapt and they overcome and they get over it, right? There's even some things out there that are, a very high chance of getting killed, like cancer. We do as much as we can to avoid cancer, right? We eat, well, we like to think that we do. We eat a certain way, right? We try to stop smoking. We minimize our sugar intake, which is one of the biggest risk of cancer. Not a doctor, not educated at all in that field. So take that with a grain of salt. Don't take any advice from me. But we do these things to possibly avoid developing a deadly sickness, a deadly disease that is literally ourselves dying at a quicker rate. I bought all these books and I read all these books to decrease my chances of developing Alzheimer's. My grandpa has Alzheimer's, so I was like, I don't want Alzheimer's. It looks like it runs in the family. I don't want that, right? I don't want Alzheimer's. So how do I avoid it? I read more, right? I connect more neurons in my head, and I make sure that I will live a life of constantly learning, which is going to allow me to decrease my chances of developing Alzheimer's, right? So I do these things, and I do these things because I know that I don't want to develop sicknesses, right? And we know these things that they can get us, and we know how likely they are to kill us, and how likely they are to hurt us for a long time. And coronavirus is one of those things that we have politicized so quick. And that's honestly, when I sit here today, the one thing that I think that upsets me the most, more than anything, it's just how politicized a sickness can become, how politicized a virus can become, something that is biologically going to infect us. We've just kind of made it a huge political stance, and that's an embarrassment. That's an embarrassment to this country. That's an embarrassment to you. That's an embarrassment to me. If we travel, and American travels right now, it's embarrassing because we are representing this country that is, frankly, still the country. I don't care what you say or what you believe. Let me take that back. I do care a lot with what you say and what you believe, and I will listen. This is still the country that people want to come to. This is still the country that people fight and kill and dream about. This is still the country that kids being born by the millions every day get to the point where they realize what this country is and they want to come here. And that's something that I think we've lost. We've lost that American spirit. I know even saying that makes me sound like it's radical to say stand for the flag. It's crazy to wear an American flag nowadays, and I don't get it. This country is the pinnacle of freedom, and it's not perfect, and it's not ever going to be perfect. I understand, but it's still a country that if you want to be a mechanic, you can rent out a garage, watch YouTube videos on how to become a mechanic. You don't have to ask your government. You can get a business license, get a tax number, start paying taxes, and you can fix cars. And if you're good at fixing cars, you'll fix more cars than your competitor. And if you're good at marketing, you can get more people through your doors. And if you're not good at marketing, you can look for somebody who went to college for marketing. You can still literally achieve whatever you want in this country. And this is the thing that makes me so upset is people are embarrassed and saying this country is the worst. That's an embarrassment to say. Because it's just simply not the truth. It's just not true. Fuck man, it's crazy because if I said this 4 years ago, people would agree. But now people are so polarized and they're so just losing their mind that it makes me sound like a fucking asshole, even though I know I'm not. The people that know me know I'm not. Right? I just think everything is just been. It's like boiling water, right? It's just boiling water, and as the closer and closer we get to November 4th, people are starting to stare at each other like angrily, right? People are getting upset so quick. People are being triggered just out of nothing. People are hating relatives. People are hating friends because of what they believe in, what the political party is. That's a fucking embarrassment. That is embarrassing because that stuff has never mattered before. Why does it matter now? You know who you are. If you're a good person, that should be the only thing that matters. Fuck your political stance. Fuck your political stance. Who cares what side of the fence I'm on? Fuck your fence. I want to sit on the fence. I want to enjoy both sides. I want to enjoy people's conversations. I don't want things to be decided because of fear. I want our news stations to feed us the truth, not feed us bias, opinions. I want our president to stop making fun of ethnic groups and making fun of females and talking shit about people. I want our candidate who's trying to beat our president to actually have things that he believes, that he wants to do, that he wants to change, and actually have plans to do these things. I want that to be his base that he runs off of, not my base is going to be run off of how much I hate this other person. The more shit I can talk about this person, the more that I can say that this person has messed up here, the more things I can pull up from his past, that increases my chance to win. That's never a good idea. That's never going to work. That's never going to work. I have not met a lot of people who actually are pro-Biden, but they're actually anti-Trump. And that's dangerous. That is a dangerous thing that we live in. And there's a lot of deep-seated issues there. But all I'm saying here is that we need more love. There needs to be more care. We need to remember that we're humans, that we are all Americans, that we're all people, that we're all sapiens first. And 4 years ago, the world seemed like it was this country seemed like it was more at peace. Why? What has changed? The president? You as a being haven't changed. Hopefully you've grown, but you're still the same person that you were 4 years ago. But you're filled with fear, and you lash out about things you don't even know. And it's so sad because I know I have people personally in my life who are viewing me as a different person now. And that's scary. That's scary because I still love and adore so many people, and I care for so many people. And we're living in a world that is just chaos up until November 4th. If Biden wins, I don't know what's going to happen. Who knows? If Trump wins, I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. But what I do know is the sun's going to come up November 5th. There's going to be a new president. And I have the decision to make. Am I a good person or am I a bad person? And if because there's a certain president in office, I decide to be a bad person, I'm a piece of shit. I'm a weak individual. I don't deserve to do well. They should have no effect on you. They shouldn't have no effect on your day-to-day interactions with other humans. That's just my opinion. And my opinion is completely reserved to me. And it can be absolutely wrong. And if it is absolutely wrong, I want to hear it. I want to hear from people. I want people to talk to me about it. On other news, because I can't speak, I spent this past weekend. I just want to finish up saying I love people. I love conversation. I love humans. I love the challenge of being a human. I love setting goals, accomplishing them. I love waking up, having a challenge every day. I love working. I love going to school. I love my family. I love my friends. I love people that I conversate with. I love my life. I love this podcast. I have a lot of love in my heart. I don't have a lot of fear. I choose not to have fear because that's the decision I make. You can make the same decision. You don't have to choose to have fear. Fear is something that comes from within, normally comes from within, but today in this climate that we live in, it doesn't come from within. It's artificially developed, sent to you through the television, through the phone, through Facebook, through Twitter, through YouTube, through these ads that our candidates are having, just bashing the other president. It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. They're literally hacking the biology of your brain. Like they're hacking your emotional system and they're exploiting you. But you got to realize you're being exploited. That's what marketing is. They're exploiting you. They're turning you to hate the other side. I don't know a lot of people right now who, if they are a Trump fan or if they're a Biden fan, they actually enjoy their side more than they hate the other person. Everyone hates the other side more than they like their own party. And that right there is an exploitation of us as humans. That is something that's in our DNA to feel these certain emotions for whatever reason, evolutionary purposes, or whatever the reason is. Because our AI robots did put that into us. Who knows? But recognizing that that's there. Also recognizing that social media has completely diluted ourselves. It's completely pushed an agenda on us. That documentary, Social Dilemma, it's the fucking truth. It's the truth that social media is not designed for our benefits. Yes, it is if you use it that way. But what it's designed to do is to keep your eyes on your phone. And what they figured out years ago is that you don't spend more time on social media seeing things that you like. You spend more time on social media seeing things you hate. On average, the average person, they see something that they hate, they stay on social media more, they get angry, they stay on the phone, they express, especially on Facebook, they express their opinions. They look for people to get angry at them. Once the person gets angry at them, it's now a goal to win that conversation. More time on your phone, more ads they can sell, because the more ads you're watching, the higher the click rate. Companies make money off of click rate. I make money off of you guys when you guys click the ads that come up, like the skippable and non-skippable ads. That's how I make my money. So if I sit here and I say controversial shit the whole time, like I don't know, like an Alex Jones or even like a Rogan up to a point, then that increases my money. So you got to realize, like, this is what's going on in this world of social media. It's not designed for you to be a healthy person. It's designed to exploit you, to keep you coming back for more and more and more. That's what's happening. There's fear everywhere you go. There's no more listening. There's no more conversations. It's constant attacking. It's constant anger, constant artificial anger, and there's no more empathy. There's no more empathy for people. We need empathy. We need love. We need joy. We need caring. We need caring individuals. We need ability to listen to other people. We need the ability to understand other people. We need the ability to agree to just disagree with each other. We can't make these blanketed statements about a whole half of the country that if you support this, you're racist. you're a sexist. If you support Biden, you're a socialist. You're a fascist. It's complete nonsense. It's insane. It's insane. Those are what schizophrenics say. They say things that have no basis of evidence. The aliens are talking to me. That's what people sound like right now. People are saying things without any basis of truth, right? And I feel for these people. So that's that. I spent this past weekend doing some man shit. I spent this past weekend getting myself together. As you guys can tell, there's been a few changes here in the studio. I'm actually in the process right now of putting up a new sign, a drawing of me when I was like 4 years old, probably like 8 years old actually. I'm not gonna show you right now because it's super dusty. But I got it like I think it was Ocean City, like at the boardwalk or something. And it's me wearing a cape, Superman cape, and it's got a thought bubble that says, "All right, ... Who needs to be rescued? Super Michael." And I'm going to put that up. I'm going to try to replace the brain. I really like the brain image, but I'm running out of space to put stuff up at, which is kind of a bummer. I've started to sell some of these books up here. I'm starting to get rid of some of these books. Just trying to clear out some space, but trying to make a little bit of money to put back into the market. And also, I don't need all these books right here, honestly. I think a lot of it's ego. But what else? Oh, yeah. So we're making a few changes to the setup, and I'm slowly getting more comfortable. I took out a shelf that was right in front of this table up here that you guys can't see. But what I did was, so I needed a table. So I didn't know, there's a lot. So if you guys watch a lot of podcasts, most good podcasts, or at least most podcasts I listen to, they have tables. And most of these tables are like huge wooden, like oak or pine or just massive tables. And these tables that you guys see are like $1,000 tables. Like these are extremely expensive tables. I can't afford $1,000 table. Like I can't. I could, but that's a bad idea. Like it's a terrible idea. I feel very uncomfortable spending that much money. Also, I don't have enough room here in the corner of my bedroom. so that's not going to work. So I had to think outside the box, and I talked to my father, and we decided to do like a corner-like table. So where the camera is on YouTube, this is where I like to put it for solo podcasts. If I do a 2-person podcast, I like to kind of angle instead of in the corner to kind of shift it to the camera's right, push it back a little bit so you can get both of us. But in the past, when I have guests on, it can be awkward doing a podcast because we're both trying to look at each other, but we're both also trying to look at the camera. So you guys at least know that we know that you're there. Did that make sense? Anyway, so I try to put together like a rough drawing of what I wanted. It was really hard because I have no experience with art. Like I'm not an architect. I don't have like talent in that world at all. But so we developed a table idea. So it's basically it's like a triangle with round corners. It's a rectangle of prism? No, a triangle prism. So it's like a rectangle, but one of the sides is like the tip of a triangle. So I'll sit on one side, the guests sit on the other. But we went ahead to Home Depot and bought a oak. I think it was oak plywood. We cut it down. We shaved the corners. I think it's 5 feet wide, 5 feet long. We rounded the edges, which I thought was really cool. I didn't know we could actually do that. Then I went ahead and put a black stain on. I think it was ebony stain. So it's a black stain, kind of glossy looking, satin. And we have a drawing right now. So hopefully the next podcast you guys see will have the new table on it, which I'm super excited for. I want to put my little gadgets back up on the table because I don't think people realize, like, one of the coolest things, like, when I first started this podcast, I've always been so, like, I always get very excited about adding things to the studio. Like, it's like a personality, like the setup. So a lot of podcasts, some of them don't even have video options. Like Bill Burr doesn't have video options. Mark Maron, I think he has the video options, but he doesn't upload the video. I think he records the video for like certain guests at a time. But I love the video. I felt like, so when I watch podcasts, I always watch video podcasts. I watch Rogan on video. I watch Bert Kreischer on video. I watch Tom Segura on video, because a lot of them use clips, and I want to see the clips. I want to see what the clips are about. I don't just want to listen to it. So I'm always watching YouTube. So one of the first things I wanted to do when I made my own podcast was I wanted to have the coolest looking studio I could possibly come up with. I wanted to have my own little flair to it. I want to have my own look to it. I wanted to have my own color scheme to it, my own, like, what makes the podcast special, what makes it me. And I think the brain makes it me, and I think the police flag, the thin blue line, makes it me. I think this picture behind me of the Elon Musk quote saying, starting a business like chewing glass and staring into the abyss, is me. The alien above me is me. My girlfriend's sister went ahead and made that for me for my 23rd birthday. These books are a development of me. Like, these books represent the person that I am right now, because the person I was a year ago was not me. The person I was a year ago was a fucking mess. Like, just a straight up disaster of a human. But baby steps here and there. So I want to bring that back. So I like the black table. I'm going to add things to that. I'm hopefully get more guests in here. I know it's kind of like a thing I keep saying, but there is a lot of work. Like, to have guests on, it's not just have guests on. You got to realize, like, a lot of people. So at the state I'm at right now, so my podcast is growing, right? But I'm still at the point now where if I tell people I have a podcast, they don't really listen. They don't really care. They kind of just roll their eyes. If they come on, they're not really excited to be here. It's kind of like an obligation to be here, which I totally get. I don't think that people should come on here and be like, oh, I'm on Michael Lab's show, like I'm on a podcast, because that would be super narcissistic about me. And I'm only slightly narcissistic. I'm just kidding. But it is hard. It's a weird hump to get over, because podcasting is so strange. Like, even when you've done like 100 plus episodes, you still sit here and you put things out, and you don't know when things are going to hit. You don't know how long people are going to listen to your podcast. You don't know if people are going to say, if I tell somebody I do a podcast and they don't listen to it for a week, and then they listen to it a month later, and then you see the way that they talk to you is a little bit different, because the way they know you so much at a deeper level than most people do, and they pick up certain things from certain episodes. And if they don't watch all the episodes, which nobody would do, because there's like, hundreds and hundreds of hours, or maybe not hundreds, there's probably 100 plus hours of content out there of me just talking, it would be impossible, right? It's like 4 days worth of content. You would never listen to all of it. But there is a weird, because it's just thought, right? That's all a podcast is. It's just me thinking into words. That's all I'm doing. And sometimes those thoughts get mixed up, and sometimes people hear things a certain way, and then there's just a bunch of different angles that people can take on the podcast. And even though there's a little bit of money being made, it doesn't matter, because people just don't take you serious. So it is a weird thing to have, and it's a weird just time to be in. Like, if it was getting hundreds and hundreds of thousands of downloads per day, people would probably want to come on more and more and more. That's not an excuse. I'm just kind of telling you the way it is. Like, you tell people that, and then they go like, what does that even mean? You have a podcast? Like, cool. Like, I don't really want to be on it. I have like a full-time job, so there's a lot of like angles to there's a lot of things that I got to work around to get people on the podcast. That, and I also need my own space. I need my own office space, which I am looking at. My goal is this time next summer to have my own space. Space. It's just a school thing. It's kind of, you got to pay for school too, so that's kind of expensive. But you guys don't care. I'm just making excuses. That's all I do on this podcast. All I do is make excuses. But hopefully I get that table here soon. And then once I get that table here soon, it should be a lot easier. So it should be a lot easier for me to expand the podcast and get more people to listen to it. But that's that. That's kind of what I did this weekend. Watched the Packers get absolutely manhandled on Sunday. They got absolutely demolished, which was kind of depressing. Didn't make me too happy, but that's what you get with Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers threw a couple interceptions. The first one was on him. The second one I don't think was on him too much. It looked like it should have been caught, but that's the life of a football fan. I don't really talk about sports too much on here because it's not a huge part of me. I'm not like the biggest sports fan around. If like the Packers make it to like deep in the playoffs and they make it to the Super Bowl, which I think they will, then I might get into it a little bit more. Sports to me are just kind of, there's no depth to it. Like I like watching it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I've never watched football before up until like these past 2 years. I enjoy watching it. It's kind of, I enjoy watching it because I feel like I deserve to watch it, which sounds a little egotistical, but I feel like I deserve to watch it because I stay busy throughout the week, right? So I feel like it's kind of like a beer for me, and I don't drink. So it's kind of like a beer for me, like a reward for like having a good week. It's kind of weird I don't drink. I've thought about that before. I just don't drink. Like if I had to go a whole month without drinking, I would have no impact on my life. It's just something I've never done. It's just something I've never really thought about doing. It's expensive. It's the one thing I have been, this is kind of hilarious, especially if you know me. The one thing I have been contemplating more and more, I'm not going to do it. But like this past weekend, it was a few days I would wake up and it was like raining outside, right? It was like a little misty. It wasn't raining hard, just a little bit of rain. It was like 45 to 60 degrees. It's like 6:30. I get a cup of coffee. I walk outside to like take down the trash, or I don't know, to go to my car to grab like pills or something, like take vitamin packs because I keep them in my car because I basically live out of my car. A little bit less these days. But there was a point there where I was living out of my car between Towson, going to see the girlfriend, going to work at the restaurant and working at the gym, because those two jobs overlapped for about 2 months there because I didn't have any shifts at the gym. So I wanted to get shifts at the gym, right? But I also didn't want to lose out on money. So I had to slowly quit the restaurant as I was gaining employment at the gym. It was a weird time frame there for me. It was just, I was also making a butt ton of money. There was a point there where every weekend I was working at the restaurant, Saturday and Sunday, which I do kind of, I kind of miss that place. I miss working there. I miss the money. I don't know, I've had like dreams about it, which is really weird. I've been having like dreams about like, so they're called like server dreams. And I remember when I first became a server, people would tell me, you're going to have like these nightmares about serving. I was like, what are you talking about? And I did. I had nightmares about serving. There was nights where I was like, just everything was just falling apart. Food wasn't coming out, just getting bitched out by every table. And it's been weird. Like, some nights I'm off and I'm not like the best at just being off. Like, I constantly want to do stuff. And there's some nights where I'm just like, oh, maybe I could work tonight at the restaurant, like serve. And then I'm like, fuck, it's COVID. That's going to be weird. But I do miss like just being in the trenches, like just getting my ass kicked. Like there's something really unique about that. And I have been having like these weird nightmares of like going and working at the restaurant, like forgetting honey mustard or like forgetting someone's salad and having like serving them the dinner. Like, oh, I guess I'll get my salad later. I guess you could take that salad off the bill. And I'm just like, fuck, man, like shit. What am I doing? But it is weird. I don't know what I was saying. Oh yeah, living out of my car. But there has been, so I've read this book called Post Office by Charles Bukowski, who's a poet. It was a good book. It was very male-ish. It was a very guy book. It was very nihilistic, I guess. I'll put it in like the same group as like a like an Alan Watts maybe, or maybe like a Carl Jung, like just that nihilistic kind of feeling to it. It was a very sexualized book, which wasn't really up my alley, because I can't relate to books like that, for many reasons. It was a decent book, but I listen to his interviews, I listen to him talk, and I see pictures of him, and he's just like smoking a cigarette. He's like smoking a cigarette outside in the fall with a cup of coffee. And it's just, I've been like romantic. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to do it because it's expensive and it's not good for my health. like I was saying at the beginning of the podcast, we do things that we know aren't good for us, but we do them because who knows? Maybe because of what I'm about to say, because it looks cool. It looks comforting. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I have this weird relationship with cigarettes. I have no relationship with alcohol, but like my relationship with cigarettes is weird because I know people in my life who smoke cigarettes. They're all good people, and I like the smell of cigarettes. Like I like it when someone's smoking a cigarette. It's like a time of peace, right? Which is really weird because I don't think that's normal. But like I remember at the restaurant after we got our ass kicked, people would go out back and they'd smoke a cigarette, and it was just like unwinding, right? People on the smoke deck would smoke a cigarette. Growing up, the person who lived with me, my aunt, she would smoke cigarettes. Parties I go to with my family, they're all smoking cigarettes, having a good time, they're chilling, and like the smell of it is just, I don't know. A lot of people I know who smoke cigarettes don't even want to quit smoking cigarettes. I'm like, well, what the fuck's wrong with cigarettes then? They don't want to quit them. Like, I don't know. Like, I've just been like romanticizing the idea of the cigarette world, which I don't think is good because it's definitely something I don't want to, Credit Karma's talking to me. It's something I'm not going to do, but it's like, I don't know. It's kind of just, I don't know what it is. It's probably like when I'm dieting and I'm romanticizing pizza. Oh, that's what we did. We ordered Pizza Hut, and we got stuffed crust pizza and boneless wings, and I ate 6 slices of pizza and 8 boneless wings, and I woke up the next day like 202 pounds, just fucking bloated out of my mind. I literally put on 8 pounds in one day. We watched Borat, and I just laughed my ass off the entire time. Borat is such a funny movie. Like, everything about it. We watched Dictator, which wasn't as funny. It was a very, it was pushing the edge on a lot of things, to say the least. What else? We watched The Cabin with Bert Kreischer, which is hilarious. The Darnell Rawlings and the Bobby Lee episode is the funniest episode. There's an episode with Kelly Cuco and Miss Pat, and a lot of people didn't like Miss Pat. I liked her. I don't know. It was a good TV show. It was very Bert Kreischer-ish. It was definitely one of the shows that you can tell Netflix was like, you do your thing. We're going to give you this much money. And he ran with it. But it was a good show. I recommend it. Rewatch Borat because he has a new show coming out, I think tomorrow, October 20th. He has a new movie coming out where he's Borat during the pandemic, which is actually a brilliant idea. It's a hilarious idea. Having Borat from Kazakhstan during a pandemic, but I digress. But I do have to go. Do some homework, edit up this podcast so you guys can see it on Tuesday. And I gotta eat food because I'm starving. But in the meantime, guys, thank you so much for listening. I'll catch you guys in episode 133 of the show with me, Michael Labs. Thank you so much for listening. Peace out. See ya. Have a great, beautiful Wednesday and Tuesday.